Hello, everyone! In this lecture, I am going to explain the famous Sonnet 144 by William Shakespeare. But before I begin, if you are new to my channel, then please like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss such interesting literary explanations. Now, before we start the line-by-line explanation, let me first give you a brief background, the theme and the main message of this sonnet. That will help you understand it much more easily. Actually, this sonnet is a very personal and emotional piece where Shakespeare talks about two people he deeply cares about. One is a young man, and the other is a mysterious woman. He feels like he is caught in the middle of a love triangle. The young man, whom he refers to as the better angel, is someone pure and noble. On the other hand, the woman, called the worser spirit, is tempting and corrupt. He fears that the woman is pulling the young man away from goodness and possibly having an affair with him. The poem uses strong imagery from religion, like angels, devils, hell, and heaven, to show this inner struggle between good and evil, love and lust, and hope and despair. Let's start it line by line. Two loves I have of comfort and despair. In this opening line, Shakespeare tells us that he has two different kinds of love in his life. One gives him comfort, which means peace, happiness, or support, and the other causes him despair, meaning pain, sadness, or emotional suffering. These two loves are completely opposite in their effect on him. One makes him feel hopeful and cherished, while the other fills his life with regret and inner conflict. Right from the start, we see that the speaker is caught in a struggle between positive and negative emotions caused by two people he deeply cares about. This contrast between comfort and despair sets the tone for the rest of the poem, where Shakespeare explores the emotional and moral confusion caused by these two loves, and then says, "Which like two spirits do suggest me still." Here, Shakespeare compares the two loves to two spirits or forces that are always whispering into his mind and influencing his decisions. The word suggest in Shakespeare's time means to tempt or persuade, just like how we imagine a good angel and a bad devil on each shoulder giving advice. He's saying that these two loves constantly affect him, shaping his thoughts and emotions. They are not just passive feelings. These loves have a powerful hold on him, always pulling him in opposite directions, like a spiritual battle taking place within his soul. The better angel is a man, right, fair? In this line, Shakespeare gives us more details about the first love. He calls this person his better angel, meaning someone who represents goodness, purity, and virtue. He also describes him as a man right fair, which means a very handsome or noble-looking man. This person is likely someone he admires greatly, possibly the young man who appears in many of his other sonnets. Shakespeare clearly sees this man as a positive influence, someone who brings light and peace into his life, much like how an angel brings hope and guidance. The worser spirit, a woman colored ill. Now we are introduced to the second love, a woman, but not in a flattering way. Shakespeare calls her the worser spirit, the bad influence in his life. He says she is colored ill, which can mean two things. She might have dark features, possibly referring to the famous Dark Lady, but more importantly, it means she has a corrupt or evil nature. The word ill suggests that she brings negativity into his life. This woman represents temptation, sin, and destruction, the opposite of the good angel. So here we clearly see that Shakespeare is emotionally and morally stuck between these two people. One he sees as good and pure, the other as bad and dangerous. And then says, "To win me soon to hell, my female evil." In this line, Shakespeare is brutally honest. He says that the woman, his female evil, wants to drag him to hell. Not literally, but emotionally and morally. She tempts him with desire, pride, or deceit, and her influence threatens to ruin him. The phrase, "win me soon to hell," shows just how strong her power is. She can easily lead him into a life filled with guilt, sin, or emotional destruction. It also shows that Shakespeare feels powerless and vulnerable to her charm. He calls her evil without hesitation, proving how deeply he blames her for the pain and confusion he's going through. "Tempteth my better angel from my side." Here, Shakespeare reveals something even more dramatic. The woman is not just hurting him. She's also tempting his better angel, the good man. She is trying to steal away the one person who gives him peace and comfort. From my side means she's separating them, taking the good influence out of his life. This could mean that she is romantically seducing the man, or simply turning him against Shakespeare. Either way, the poet feels a double betrayal. Not only is she corrupting him, but she's also poisoning the one source of goodness in his world. And then says, "And would corrupt my saint to be a devil." This line continues the previous idea. Shakespeare calls the good man his saint, showing how much he reveres and idealizes him. But now he says the woman wants to corrupt him, turning that saint into a devil. The transformation from saint to devil is extreme. It shows just how dangerous the woman's influence is. Shakespeare fears that the man he once saw as pure and angelic will become tainted, sinful and destructive under the woman's power. He's not just jealous here, he's genuinely afraid of losing the goodness he once believed in, wooing his purity with her foul pride. In this line, Shakespeare describes how the woman tries to achieve this corruption. She is wooing, which means flirting or seducing, the man's purity, trying to pull him into her world of foul pride, which could mean arrogance, sensuality, or sinful behavior. The contrast is clear. She is using her impure methods to destroy something innocent and good. Shakespeare sees this as deeply tragic. It's not just about love anymore, it's about losing moral direction and watching something beautiful get destroyed by something ugly and selfish. And whether that my angel be turned fiend? Here Shakespeare admits he is not sure whether his good angel, the man, has actually been corrupted. A fiend is a demon or an evil being. So this line means, I don't know if my good love has been turned into something bad. There's a deep feeling of suspicion and fear here. Shakespeare is anxious and heartbroken, but he doesn't have proof. He's stuck with doubt and paranoia, not knowing if the worst has happened, but imagining it might have. And then says, "Suspect I may, yet not directly tell." He continues this thought. Shakespeare says, "I can suspect what's going on, but I cannot say it for sure." He is full of painful guesses, but there is no solid evidence. This line expresses his feeling of helplessness. He can't confront anyone. He can't be sure of the truth. He can only live with his haunting suspicions. This kind of uncertainty is even more painful than knowing the truth, because it destroys trust and peace of mind. But being both from me, both to each friend. Now Shakespeare gives us more context. He says that both the man and the woman are away from him, they are no longer close to him emotionally or physically, and now they have become to each friend, meaning they are close to each other. He has lost them both. The people he loved in two very different ways have formed a bond with each other, a bond that leaves him feeling betrayed and abandoned. This line shows Shakespeare's isolation and his emotional loneliness. I guess one angel in another's hell. This line is filled with poetic pain. Shakespeare says that he imagines one angel, the good man, has entered the hell of the woman. This could mean that the man is now stuck in a toxic relationship with her, or that he's been morally ruined by her influence. It's a heartbreaking image. Someone who once brought peace and purity is now trapped in sin and darkness. It's also a perfect example of how Shakespeare uses powerful imagery to describe emotional conflict and betrayal. Yet this shall I ne'er know, but live in doubt. In this penultimate line, Shakespeare expresses deep sadness. He says he will never know the full truth. He will only be able to live in doubt, always wondering what really happened. This shows how painful uncertainty can be. He is trapped in a cycle of suspicion and heartbreak, with no hope of resolution. This line reflects the emotional damage caused not just by betrayal, but by not knowing for sure whether the betrayal is even real. Till my bad angel fire my good one out. The final line ends the poem with a dramatic prediction. Shakespeare says that one day, the bad angel, the woman, may finally fire out the good one, meaning She will completely replace or overpower him. He fears that the evil influence will win, and the good influence will be lost forever. This conclusion is powerful. It shows that Shakespeare feels like he's on the edge of emotional and moral ruin, and unless something changes, darkness will replace the light in his life. So that was Sonnet 144, a beautiful yet tragic poem filled with deep emotions, spiritual struggle, and emotional conflict. Shakespeare presents love, not just as a feeling, but as a battle between good and evil, between hope and destruction. I hope you enjoyed this line-by-line detailed explanation, and if you did, please like and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next lecture.